Welcome, everybody. Here we are on Trey's little variety hour, number 18, I think we're at. Hey, everybody in chat that's joined me. How are you guys doing?
Good. Merry Christmas, Tom and Trey and Dave.
Oh, thank you.
And internet peoples.
We have a few other people joining us here soon, but I wanted to go ahead and get started. We've got all kinds of stuff going on tonight. I've got a great crowd. Here's what we'll do tonight. We'll go around and have introductions from everybody. And people as they come in will interrupt for introductions. And then I'll have a few announcements that are very exciting and unexpected. And then we'll start talking about this upcoming photo adventure we have, this kind of Google Plus photo walk to Yosemite. And we'll talk about how are we packing for this trip. And in general, how do we pack photography stuff for trips? Gordon just took a long trip. He takes long trips like I do. And he has a video he'll share. I have a video I'll share. We'll kind of talk through it. And then we'll kind of let the conversation meander around. Tara will be joining us later. I want to share some of her art. It's really cool. We're going to show something from Lily that she did with this cool painter program, sort of a teaser for an upcoming hangout about we're all going to be sort of painting together. You guys may know I love all things art. I can just create art all day and talk about art and this sort of thing. So this hangout is just sort of a natural extension of what I do anyway. Okay, so let's jump around and say hello to some people. First, let's say hi to Tom, who I believe Mona Numura, this New York gal, she has said that we have some sort of a bromance going on, you and I.
Yes.
You even try to hide it. Trey, actually, you seem quite proud of it too.
No, I'm just saying that's what people say. I don't say it's true or anything. It's interesting that people think that.
I don't deny it.
There you go, folks.
Trey and I have a bromance, and we only met about is it 3 or 4 months now, Trey?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the reason I'm here in the hangout is because we became friends, and Trey got me into taking photographs. And we've gone to Burning Man and China and San Francisco, and he's come out here to LA several times, so we've had a couple trips together. And I'm Tom Anderson, the MySpace guy, and you've probably seen me on Google Plus if you've seen Trey, because we talk about each other all the time. That's what guys in a bromance do.
And we have a special treat for people tonight, because Tom has some new glasses that he's trying out. So everybody can vote on their favorite glasses. Put it in the comments. Also, by the way, not just voting for Tom's various looks that he'll be throwing down tonight, but also if you guys have any questions at the Q&A period at the end, we'll kind of pour through the comments and see what we can see. I'm
also capable of being multiple heights. Trey told me to stand up straight because I have a chair. I can make myself so people can tell me whether they like me the regular height or this height.
It's a very strange chair you have there.
Which one's better?
I think up higher. You look too.
It's like mini-me.
Yeah. We have dwarf, and then we have Yao Ming.
Yeah, do it all. So I'll have many looks tonight, and it's you made the joke in the intro to the hangout about my pictures, so people can see me for real. This is updated. This is not old. This is not old web footage.
Yeah, this is live. Well, it's as old as the speed of light, at least.
Yeah.
Hey, Gordon. How are you, my New Zealand Kiwi friend?
I'm very good, Trey. Thanks for having me. It's the middle of summer here in New Zealand. It's really hot, so I think the Santa hat may only stay on for a short while. The question is, digital hat or digital antlers? You can find out in just at the same time when the heat just becomes too overcoming. I run a site called cameralabs.com where I review digital cameras and accessories and stuff. So if you're wondering what present to buy your loved one on your last day of Christmas shopping, then check it out and have a look at the best buys. As usual, I'll be boring Trey and the rest of you with all my gear nerd talk. There was a fantastic questionnaire I tweeted out earlier from lensrentals.com, which basically worked out whether you were a pixel peeper, gearhead type kind of guy. And I answered all of them. I got the maximum possible score, which is terrible, really horrendous. One of the questions was, your favorite lens is A, on your camera, B, in your bag ready to go on your camera, or C, sat on your desk next to your keyboard where you're currently staring at it and typing out a message in a forum about how it's better than the last copy you had in the corners. So that's the kind of guy I am.
I can
All right.
vouch for Gordon, his skills, because he helped me. I had a lens problem that was too esoteric and strange even for Trey to solve. And Gordon was like, it was talking about 2 + 2 = 4. He just whipped out all this information and solved my problem in 5 minutes. So I can vouch for it.
You're very welcome, Tom. I am a purveyor of the esoteric and the strange. Bring it on.
Yeah, Gordon is a genius. I don't know how he knows more about equipment, and his forums are very active. He's got a huge following on Camera Labs. He has wonderful videos. We'll be watching one of them tonight. You kind of get a sense of why he's so great. Well, hello, Lily. How are you? Tell us about you.
Hi, I'm Lily. I've been on your Hangouts before. Some people might have seen me before. What do? I'm not really a camera pro like you guys. Sometimes I feel like, oh, I don't have very much to contribute. I just like to sit here and soak in all the smartness that's kind of just all around the place. So what do? I cosplay. I do nerdy things. Freelance model sometimes. I like arting things. I was playing around with Art Rage today, but then I got sidetracked by Minecraft. Thanks, Trey. And then I went to, I just came from a party, so I'm a little hopped up on sugar. A lot of sugar.
Well, watch out for the sugar, Lily. Yeah, so we're going to be talking about Art Rage and that sort of thing later because we have an upcoming
Interesting thing. Art Rage is actually on sale for the winter. Usually it's $80, and I checked it yesterday for a friend, and it's on sale half price, like $50 or something.
It's only $50. Yeah, that's right. It's a
not
good
half,
deal.
But yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, in these hangouts, I'd like to get veteran photographers, new photographers, all levels, and this sort of thing. And here's sort of a newbie, kind of my right-hand man in these hangouts, Dave Veffer. How are you, Dave?
I'm pretty good, man. I am not wearing my antlers, but I brought with me my Christmas tree over here.
Ooh,
It's very nice.
But speaking of Art Rage, I was just in a hangout with Daniel Ibanez the other night and doing this painting 101 thing, and I painted a pear.
All right.
Yeah.
You did your homework.
I did my homework. And people liked it, so I was excited.
That's exactly what we're going to do in one of these upcoming hangouts. We're going to get Daniel in. He and I have gotten to be pretty good friends, and we're going to bring in brave photographers that want to make this foray into another medium, and we're all going to paint the same thing together. And Daniel is going to be like the Iron Chef, and the secret ingredient is going to be whatever he shows us, so we won't know beforehand. And we'll all make fools of ourselves and paint it together and kind of talk about light and structure and shape. So that should be a nice...
Someone's going to be a live model for this. Is one of the slots on the hangout going to be some naked dude or some bowl of fruit?
we might have to naked you up and put you in the thinker pose, Gordon.
Only if I can still wear the reindeer hat. That's the only way it's going to work for me. Oh, I've got a dark coloured nose now. The red nose has been taken.
You never know. All right, so let me start with a few announcements that are kind of cool. The big one is that these hangouts, of which we're on number 18 now, we've been doing these for a while, these hangouts are going to Leo Laporte's Twit network. In the new year, we're going to be part of that great Twit family. You know, I watch so many of those shows. I'm sure you guys do too, and I've been on Catherine's Twit photo quite a few times. I watch that all the time. I was just out there on the show, and you know, Leo does a great job with this whole network. And while I was out there, we had a little talk about it, and he was excited about it, and I'm excited about it. So it's going to be great. I'm very thrilled at that development. I don't know when the first show will be on his network, but it'll be one of these upcoming ones. And my right-hand man here, Dave Veffer, he's kind of the producer of this show, and he's going to help me out. We were doing some cool technological things to get him a high-quality feed. And we'll kind of learn as we go, but it'll be great. I'm excited about that. So that's one big announcement. The other big announcement is I want to give a free plug to this guy. His name is Duncan Bliss. Okay, he made this new banner that you might have seen on the top of my page. I just put it in, I think, less than 24 hours ago. And let me share my screen here so you guys can see it, just in case.
I did see that. It's very cool.
Yeah, I put his info in the live stream in the comments there, and this is gonna be a little choppy, you know, because it's going out over live, but it's much smoother for real. And this guy's amazing. And what I want people to do is contact him and pay him to make this for your Google page, because, you know, really, I think this Google Plus page is going to be sort of a nice main part of your online presence, right? It might even be more popular than your website or your portfolio or your business page or whatever. And so when people come to your profile, they might want to see something snazzy up there. And really, you haven't had to pay for anything, right? People are used to paying for hundreds or thousands of dollars to get a web page built. And you've already gotten everything for free, so this is a great way for you to support your local internet artist and pay Duncan a little bit of money. I'm sure it's very come up with a reasonable deal for you, and then you'll have something very unique and wonderful. I first found out about this guy because he did this great work for this this shark photographer. Let me click on him here. Maybe I can see
Eric Cheng, I think his name is, right?
Yeah, Eric Cheng. He's the nice shark photographer. He's not that asshole guy.
I think I know who you're talking.
You know who I mean, Lily. He's that guy that you know, makes fun of Lisa Bettany and Elena Collis, and very.
I like his photos though.
Yeah, but he is an ass. But anyway, Eric Cheng is not. Let's talk about Eric Cheng. Eric Cheng is a great guy. And look at this incredible animation that Duncan did. It's amazing. It's so he can do a million different things.
I noticed Daniel Ibanez's profile has an animation too, and I'm only guessing that Duncan did that one too, probably.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my big plug for Duncan. You guys look this guy up and you know, do something with him, because he deserves it. I think he's a wonderful guy. Okay, well, let's talk about, let me stop sharing the screen here.
Hey, Trey, how can I...
Press 73 notifications here.
What was that, Gordon? I couldn't hear that.
I was just saying I was equally impressed by your 73 notifications.
Oh, right. Yeah, those come in pretty quick.
Yeah.
I feel like the little Dutch boy in the dam. What'd you say, Tom?
I was just going to ask how each of us can share this to our streams. I've never shared a hangout, really.
Well, it's a little buggy, but you can take my post and you can share that to your friends. In fact, I think everybody should do that because it'll spread it even wider.
So just
I think your best bet is to share the actual post instead of... Like, share the link to his post instead of trying to just share the post.
Yeah, that might be good. And also, if you take Dave's URL, there's a URL that can take this and make it full screen, so it's not in that little window. That's another good thing.
So where do we get that URL, Dave?
Well, if you look at my stream, I pasted it in as a comment number 1. Okay. You should be able to see that, I believe. Double check.
It's also in the Hangout chat at the bottom.
Yeah. Wow, we already have 58 comments. That was pretty fast. Just wait till the votes start coming in, Tom, for your new glasses. We'll save that for a mid-show slump. Yeah. When the ratings drop, we'll start having you model glasses.
Okay.
And Lily can be the first line of defense on. She can give the first opinion. And then
I'll
girl's
go
opinion.
easy.
And then we'll get the popular opinion in the comments. Well, so let's talk about the kind of stuff we take on these little photo adventures. I've been on many, and I know some of y'all have too. I made a video about what I take with me, and I know Gordon made a video, and Tom is in the middle right now packing for Yosemite. We're going to be there with Scoble and Thomas Hawk, and Karen Hutton is coming, and I think there's quite a few people coming to this photo walk, and so we're all kind of wondering, well, what do you take? You know, if you're not used to traveling with a bunch of stuff. So, Gordon, I'm going to show your video that you did from Camera Labs, and you can maybe talk through it a little bit. That sound
sure
good?
Thing. Yeah.
Okay. Let me screen share my browser here. All right. So, by the way, I'm going to go ahead and give you a plug too. Free advertising here. With Camera Labs, look at this amazing site. Look at these incredible reviews. And you do these great videos that are really slick and everything. I'm just going to press play here. I have it muted. And you can talk about, well, first, before I press play, talk about this, the origin of this and what you were doing on this trip and how it was sort of a Rambo trip for any photographer.
Yeah, sure thing. I mean, before starting, I just wanted to answer a question on the stream. Kimberly Hayward asked how things were in Christchurch. There was actually an aftershock hours ago. So Ben Murray, he says he's not a New Zealander. It sounds like a farm. I am a farm, but I live here. So, it was filmed in Queenstown, but as I understand it, it didn't cause a great deal of...
Hey, Gordon, let me interrupt you for a second. Your mic is, it sounds like you might have put a small pile of doilies on your mic or something. We can't...
Is that better now? Is that better now?
That's better, yeah.
A little better.
Yeah.
It's hard to hear you.
Yeah, that's much better,
okay,
actually.
How's that? Is that better?
Yeah, you're back to normal. Back to normal. Over.
Okay. Cool. Well, yeah, I was just saying that there was an aftershock a couple of hours ago in New Zealand on the South Island around Christchurch. I don't think it was. I've not had a chance to really look into it. There wasn't. I don't think it was anything that serious. We felt it a little bit in Queenstown, but not much. So certainly everyone where I am is okay, and I hope everyone everywhere else is okay. I think it's fine.
Oh, that's good news. That's good news.
Don't let it put you off moving here, Trey.
No, don't worry. You guys are more stable down in Queenstown than Christchurch, I think.
Yeah.
So you made this video when you were going to the U.S. on a long trip. We ended up meeting together at NASA, but this is kind of the beginning of your trip, and you had to pack like a champion.
Yeah, this was for one of the final space shuttle launches. This was for STS-134, which was the last flight of Endeavour, which was the second last launch in the program. And normally when I go on holiday, my packing is very simple. I like to travel extremely light, which these days would typically be something like this, you know, a mirrorless ILC with a Gorilla Pod, you know, pretty simple. That covers it with maybe another lens. But for this particular trip, I had some very specific things in mind. I wanted to photograph and film the space shuttle, which, if anyone's ever done that before or knows a bit about it, they'll know that it's very far away. It's typically about 5-6 miles from where you view it from. And even though that is, even though the thing is massive, it's still absolutely, you know, tiny. So the first thing you need is this massive lens. So we're going to get this advert here, this free free advert. Did they let you skip it yet?
No, that one didn't give you the option to skip. It just kind of was what it was. How many YouTube subscribers do you have, by the way, for Camera Labs?
I think about maybe 50,000 or something like that.
Yeah, you've got a ton of subscribers. Well, you
but
do great work.
About 22 million views on the videos, which is really nice. Yeah, so I'm obviously in San Francisco here, the Golden Gate Bridge in the background. This was filmed with a DSLR with a Canon 10 to 22 millimeter lens. That's an extremely wide-angle lens. And what it let me do when I was filming this, actually, was get extremely close to the camera. I had it zoomed all the way out, so there is distortion at the edges, but I put myself in the middle so I could get really close, and that's so that the microphone would be able to pick up the audio well, because it was extremely windy on that day. You might be able to see a bit of that on the water behind me. It's really quite choppy. So what I'm doing here is showing all the various things that I actually had for this very specific shoot. I have two Canon T3Is, or 600Ds, one of them filming, one of them that I just picked up. I had a couple of normal kit lenses. Back there I had the new 70-300L, which is a really nice telephoto zoom. But for the main thing, the main shot, I'll get that out in a minute, I think. Well, there's one of the microphones I use. That's the Rode stereo video microphone. Because if you are recording video, the audio side of it will inevitably disappoint unless you get a decent microphone. So it's really important. Little pair of binoculars there. And I don't know whether we... oh, yeah, that was the laptop in the back. And then there's the big weapon. There's the 500mm f4L lens, which is a magnificent piece of equipment. I rented it. In fact, I rented pretty much everything you see in that bag from borrowlenses.com. And this is a great tip if you are going traveling. I mean, I don't even live in America, but I can use American services because I was going on holiday in America. So I booked it from New Zealand, had it all delivered to a local camera shop in San Francisco, where I picked it up. And that meant that I could rent all this equipment only for the period that I needed it, and then return it afterwards. So I wasn't lugging around all this stuff because it was an immense amount of weight. I didn't have to carry it around on the whole trip because I was away for a longer period.
People always wonder, like, well, where do I have it delivered? You can also have it delivered to, like, any FedEx office, and they'll just hold it for you. Yeah. Yeah.
So I really highly recommend that. So you could rent all this really expensive equipment, because, I mean, I wouldn't normally carry a 500mm lens on holiday. I mean, it's ridiculous. But I needed it for 1 week, so that's what I rented it for. And it was really nice to have access to that stuff. That bag is a Think Tank Airport Acceleration version 2, which is the smallest bag, the smallest backpack that can take the 500mm f4L lens with a body mounted on it. I had a Canon 7D there, so I had 3 bodies, 3 DSLRs, about 4 lenses and 2 microphones, and also 3 tripods, a ridiculous amount of equipment, especially for me when I like to travel light. And that was because I had a very specific job in mind. I wanted to take pictures and video of the space shuttle, both at high magnification and at wide angle. And then it didn't take off. It was cancelled. But I repeated the process a few weeks later for the final launch of Atlantis. I had exactly the same kit, and it worked. And fortunately, all of the equipment worked to treat as well. And I've got all those pictures at the Camera Lab site if you want to have a look at those space shuttle pictures. So yeah, it worked out really well. But probably the best thing for me was being able to just box it all up and send it all off. And there's this great sense of relief, not just from your back, you're not carrying it anymore, but in terms of insurance. You know, you think, oh, crikey, I've got to really watch out. I've got to carry this stuff around me all the time. I'm nervous about leaving it on, in restaurants on the floor. Is it going to be there when I turn my back on it? That's what it looked like inside. But it was so nice to be able to send it all back to borrow lenses afterwards and not worry about it. So that's how I pack for a trip. That's it in action there. On the beach.
Scott Copeland took that picture, didn't he?
Yeah. He took that picture with the 70-300, which I was also renting, which is a really nice lens. And yeah, I did loads of handheld shots. Believe it or not, that's a handheld shot of the Golden Gate Bridge, and I handheld some video as well. Well, I say handheld, it was on a post, but it wasn't on a tripod. That was handheld. That was on a tripod, the sun setting. That's the vehicle assembly building. That was on a tripod. In fact, I was with you then, Trey, wasn't I? You and Scott went off to the bridge. And I took pictures of pelicans diving. He's going to keep scrolling down to an embarrassing shot. There's some feathered birds and there's some lesser feathered birds.
Well, you were able to get really close to these birds, weren't you?
These ones here, yeah. This was in the Vieira Wetlands Park, which, I mean, I know nothing about taking pictures of birds, but if you go to one of these really good wetlands, which they have in Florida, you can get these fantastic shots. So again, because the shuttle launch was cancelled, I found myself with this 500mm lens for like 4 days left. What are you going to do? You're going to take pictures of birds and other things.
I remember you were so funny. You were so excited when you got back, and we met for brunch. And you said, "You go, Trey, you wouldn't believe it. You get so close to these birds, you could just bend their necks around like gorilla pods."
Yeah, it was fantastic. They were so tame. Yeah, and it was so easy to get nice shots of them.
Yeah, very good shots. Well, hello.
How did that one get in
birds
there?
and other things.
How did that one get in there?
Wait, can I get into birding?
Yeah. That's a nice compression, isn't it? Wow.
Yeah, so this is a picture that I'd always wanted to take. I've seen it loads of times on postcards. It's, of course, Lombard Street in San Francisco, the world's steepest and bendiest street. But that view is actually, because it's on a valley, that's at the top of the road, and the road, Lombard Street, goes down, 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 and then it goes up, 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 back again. And that's where you get the view. It's completely opposite it. But at that point, you're about a mile and a half away, or something like that, or maybe more. So you need this massive lens to take the picture. And fortuitously, I still had 2 hours left with the 500mm at this point. So I was like, yes, fantastic. I wouldn't normally have this lens with me. Let's take this picture. Let's film a video with it. And I was quite pleased with that.
I remember you saying at the end of the trip too that this 500mm lens was the most flexible lens you had.
It almost never left the body on the whole trip. I mean, I had like a 10-20, 70-300. I think a bright 50mm, and I just ended up using that 500mm almost all the time. It was amazing. You know, I suppose it's quite addictive. Like, you know, when you first get hold of an ultra-wide lens, all your pictures become ultra-wide for the rest of that week or something. And it was the same with that Super Telephoto. A great lens to rent. A really great lens to rent.
Well, Tom, what are you thinking about bringing to Yosemite? Because this is like, you know, you're still kind of getting your feet under you when it comes to photography. And what are you thinking about?
Yeah, well, I'm actually much more worried about the clothes than the camera gear. It's going to be so cold up there, and but you know, my answer may be real boring because I'm just bringing everything I've got, which is you know, not a lot. I've got my my camera, my D7000, and I have 3 lenses now, and I have
your main camera is a D3S, right?
Yeah, my new one is a D3S. So I'm bringing both, and actually I need you, Trey, to bring me that second tripod.
Yeah, I will.
If you can remember this time, because I bought a tripod and had some trouble with it and sent it back, so my new tripod doesn't really fit my my big heavy camera now. But you know, in terms of gear, nothing really special. Just my laptop and my cards, and you know, all the sort of regular stuff that someone would want to bring. My chargers, and Trey and I like to process photos while we're out there. So, you know, we've got laptops with nice big screens, and we want to do a little work every time. Well, actually, it's more sort of during the day. You know, you go out and shoot early in the morning and take a break during the day when the sun's overhead and you're not getting that great of shots. So I don't know if I have that much interesting info to impart on what I'm bringing. It's kind of your standard stuff.
Yeah, I'll talk about what I'm bringing in just a second and show a video. But we have a new entrant to the hangout here. We have Tara. How are you? Is your audio working okay?
Hey guys.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Hey, well, why don't you tell, for people that don't know who you are, why don't you tell people a little bit about you and plug your website and anything you have going on and this sort of thing.
Oh, well, hi, I'm Tara Ga. This is actually my very first hangout, so.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know, right?
You're welcome.
I was on Google Plus the second day, and this is my first hangout.
And you're still a hangout virgin? Well, not anymore.
I know, I know.
Well, don't worry.
We all feel honored, I'm sure.
We're only broadcasting to 500,000 people, so don't worry.
Oh, man. Yeah, I had a couple of drinks beforehand, so.
Good, that'll help.
Trey has a way of de-virginizing people in their hangouts. And, like,
Tom, are you speaking for experience? Because actually, this is your first broadcasted hangout, too.
True, and my other first hangout was with Trey. I thought, what's this webcam business? This is all a little weird. But he got me into it, so I'm actually enjoying it now. But Trey and I hung out the last week, and I realized he does these all the time, not just these normal ones where we're all so stuffy and boring. He just talks to his friends every night on this thing. So now I'm kind of intrigued.
So, Tara, what's your website, and what do you do, and this sort of thing?
Oh, geez. Okay. Well, my name's Tara Ga, Tarahgaa, and that's also my website, just .com. I am an artist and designer. I worked in advertising for the past 11 years, and found a niche doing interactive and multimedia design. And then I also paint. really like modern, contemporary paintings. So that's kind of what I do.
Cool. Well, we're going to show some of your paintings here in a little bit. I've got my links all ready to go and my screen ready to share, so you can talk through it, and people will like to hear you talk through it.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I'm going to share my screen again, and I'll talk through some of my equipment. Where's my screen? Where's my screen? Okay. So I've linked the full video to this in the chat, or in the main thread. And I didn't even really plan on making this video. This is when I was in Beijing. I was kind of showing my hotel room because I thought the hotel room was cool. But then I thought, wow, why not just, show what my equipment is? Because I wasn't really prepared, and you're never really as prepared as you want to be when you go on these trips. You just kind of go with what you got, and I thought this was sort of a very real way to show my stuff, because this is probably one of 10 different hotels that I stayed in this trip. And this also was after Burning Man, so I kind of had to take stuff for every single environment. So this is a f-stop bag. Everyone sends me free bags. You might notice I've never really done a bag review on my site. Everyone wants me to endorse their bags and stuff. But this one's been doing great. I don't have any real complaints about it. I like it quite a bit. I usually like to take my stuff on 5 or 6. You probably wonder, why am I carrying those wet? Well, you never know. But really, that's because of Burning Man. There's all this dust and stuff. So anyway, I like these f-stop bags. So I have 2 bodies in here. That's the D3S with a 50 millimeter prime on there. And opposite of that is my D3X, and that has a 28-300 lens on it. I have to have a 50 prime on one so that both can fit together. I could have popped in a much larger kind of mini case inside that backpack. The backpack, I don't know if you can tell, but it's like a giant shell, and you could put these different ICUs inside of it. That lens is a 24 prime. Really, honestly, I don't think I should have brought it because I didn't use it that much. But I wanted to experiment with it. That is my 14-24 prime, or 14-24 wide-angle lens. And you might notice it doesn't have a lens cover. That's because Lisa Bettany stole it at the last photo walk. It's still inside of her purse. She's absconded it all the way to Vancouver now. That's an 85 prime 1.4. I like that one and the 50 I have on there together for, those are my favorite kind of things and people type shooting things. So anyway, that's my bag. There's a little bit more to the video you can watch. There's sort of a second bag with wires and stuff in it and drives, and I won't bore you with that sort of thing, but very simple. I don't, I think people think, let me unscreen share here. So I think people think, you have to carry a ton of different stuff with you, but I don't think so. I just take the basics, and I do have a lot of stuff here at home, but I don't really take it with me that much. It just seems kind of overkill and too much to carry, and so on and so forth. So I really travel pretty light. So what am I taking to Yosemite? Well, I'm taking pretty much what you see there. I shoot so much on a tripod, and I know some people don't like that lens that I had on my D3X. It's the 28-300. It's incredibly flexible. I think the best it does is 4.8, but I don't really care about how fast a lens is, because when you're on a tripod, the shutter speed is really insignificant. So what I lose in the light, I make up for in the stability and the flexibility of that lens. Some people talk about lack of sharpness in the corners, and all these really intense gearheads complain about some of this stuff, but I don't notice it. And really, frankly, 99% of people do not zoom into an image and scrub it at a pixel by pixel level to see how sharp something is. If it looks sharp enough, then it's sharp enough. So anyway, that's kind of the main lens that I'll probably do most of my shooting on in Yosemite. that 28 to 300. I'll also have the 14 to 24 with me for some of the wide vistas. I know Tom and I like these sort of big cinematic type sweeping shots that are wide angle and bring it all in. So really, those are the two lenses that I use most of the time: the 14 to 24 and the 28 to 300. That's probably 95% of my shooting.
Trey, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Your bag, how much, when it's fully loaded like that, how much does it weigh? And secondly, have you ever had any problems? I'm assuming you'd carry it as hand luggage on an aeroplane. Have you ever had any problems with weight restrictions or size restrictions? Because there's a question that I think a lot of people, when they're traveling with a lot of equipment, ask is,
right.
At a certain point you go over a limit, and at that point, if they ask you to, you've got little choice other than to check it in. And then if you're going to check it in, do you have all the, how is it going to be protected, your insurance, blah, blah, blah. I wanted to ask you about that.
Right. Well, those are good questions. I get those a lot too, so thanks for bringing it up. I should have offered that up.
It's a nice goblet there.
Yeah.
Yes. Gordon.
Did you see my dinner?
No, what are you eating there?
I don't know. Wait. I don't know if I can get it. So I'm not cam experienced. I can't even get the thing on it. I don't even know which way to move it. There it is.
You just move it up towards your face.
Move the camera, not the plate, Tom. Move the camera, not the plate.
Everybody was eating downstairs, and I was up here in a hangout getting none.
And Tara has continued her drinking right into the hangout. She has an overfull glass of Merlot there. How are you?
Yeah, I'll probably need it for later.
Okay.
But getting onto planes, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No problem.
One thing, I was quite shocked that I could have my carry-on and bring in. Nobody has ever stopped me just coming in with a tripod that's not, it's an extra item. And I've gotten on many planes and never run into any trouble, and I assumed that I would, so I was quite pleased with that. Tripod looks like a weapon. So maybe they're afraid to ask me or something. I might get disgruntled. I don't know.
That's because you're a middle-aged white male.
Oh. What would they wouldn't let you on with it?
No. Well, no. But
I'm not sure.
Depends if she's
Do I look like I'm going to hijack the plane? Little old me, please.
No.
I told it. No, don't quote me on that.
Yeah, but I'm quite pleased that this hasn't been an issue because I assumed that they were going to tell me I have to pack it or do something, and I've never had any trouble. Have you? Have you ever had trouble with the tripod?
Well, I've only had trouble one time, which is not much considering I've been on hundreds of flights, and that was some just over zealous security gal, and it was in Japan. Strangely, where they're usually they don't really care, and that was because it was 1 inch too long. So I just unscrewed the head and I put the head in a different bag, and that was fine. So the whole bag, I don't know how much the whole thing weighs, Gordon. To be honest, I really don't know. My guess is it's about 25 or 30 pounds. But that's plus or minus 10. I don't know. But I do know that I used to have a bigger bag, right? I think men who are like really into camera bags, like me, I think it's sort of like, we're not into purses. It's sort of how I think I understand why women like purses, because you have so many options. So I used to have this giant bag, right? And with all these pockets, and you feel compelled to put something in every pocket because having an empty pocket doesn't make sense. You think, I could put a little lens in there. I could put this, I could put a lens cleaning kit in just in case I need a lens cleaning kit. And it's a slippery slope. You just start filling it up, and pretty soon you're just carrying around this giant armoire with you. So I try not to take too much. I've kind of learned my lesson. I've never had trouble getting on a plane. Sometimes on those small commuter planes, with the really tight, where you have to duck when you walk down the aisle. Sometimes the stewardesses, they give me the business when I get on, and they want me to, check it underneath. But I tell them, I say, I'm nice about it. It's always good to be nice to people. I notice some people, customer service, they just immediately go on the attack or immediately start out negative. It's always good to be nice, and I say, well, look, this bag has $30,000 for the camera equipment, and I don't want to. I'm worried if I put it underneath it, stuff might get broken. And then I think they've always let me keep it on because I think they have these liability things that go off in their brain. They go, oh, we don't want to be responsible for that. So
when you put it underneath, Trey, you mean in the hold, not underneath the chair. You mean in the hold.
Right, in the hold. That's right. And then like Tom, I've never had trouble with my tripod. I usually hand carry that on. It's like another item. It does look kind of weapony, but I've never had a problem with it. It's easy to put up in the overhead and so on and so forth. So I usually have two things. I have the backpack and my tripod. I will check the tripod maybe 20 or 30% of the time if I know I'm not going to be shooting as soon as I land. If I'm going to be shooting as soon as I land, I make sure I hand carry it just in case my bags get lost. Like they did in Buenos Aires, and I didn't have my tripod. I had to do handheld for a few days. That was not good.
This is why this is always a good thing to have in your hand luggage. Check in your tripod and just take a Gorilla Pod, nice and light. This is the biggest one as well. And you've always got something you can attach it to, so it's like great for emergency use.
That's cool. Yeah, I love Gorilla Pods. Those are awesome. Okay, well, before we start looking at Tara's art, which I'm very much looking forward to, throw a little curveball into the Hangout, let's have a little modeling session with Tom. He's going to try on different glasses. And Tara, you don't know this, but you have been recruited into being a judge of his various glasses. And we're also going to be looking at the votes in the mainstream to see what people like and don't like. So Lily and Tara, we want y'all's opinion. You don't want the opinions of me and Gordon and Dave. We're useless.
Yes, I need the ladies'
All this
opinion.
pressure, man.
Well, I don't know how we're going to identify the glasses and give it. We should put comments and have +1. The number 1, number 2, and number 3.
It's too late for that. Just have Model 1. People will say.
Okay.
People will write long diatribes on why they like Model 1 versus Model 3.
So I got 3 pairs of glasses here. And I'm thinking of going glasses all the time and stop wearing contacts, so it's very important. This is number 1.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Ah.
Good.
Okay.
Half frame,
This is number 2. Yes, it's called a half frame, I think.
full frame, black. Let's look at the side.
A little side.
Thick frame. Okay, yeah.
I think nerdy Lily's going to choose that one.
I like
Yeah,
glasses.
Lily's
What can
into
I
this.
say?
Yeah, she is.
This is nice. Ooh.
This one's a little, it's kind of hard to tell the texture of these, in my cheap webcam. This one's a little,
Very similar.
the material is kind of like graphite, or it's like a little sporty. So these are the
That's
3.
like an independent filmmaker's glasses.
What's that?
It's like an independent, trendy filmmaker's glasses, those ones.
Lily, maybe you could tell better which one looks best if you were to recline on the bed and in different poses with the glasses.
I should wear them in my shorter mode.
Well, those are the 3. Give us your opinions, ladies.
Yeah,
I
ladies.
kind of like the first one.
First one.
Yeah, I do like the half frame.
These ones.
Yeah, put those on again.
Yeah, I like that. That's slick. That's very modern. It's very
So you don't
clean.
like the big heavy frames.
No,
Ex-
those are nice too, but this one's most appealing, I think.
I thought these big heavy ones would, cover my bags and.
Actually,
my-
I think it looks too heavy for your face.
Okay.
Because your hair's quite dark, and you have a lot of it. Yay.
Yeah, somebody-
Go you.
Somebody in
No.
my comments already told me to get a haircut.
Oh. Yeah, I kind of agree with Lily. I kind of like the half frames.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
very modern, fresh. It's very young, I think.
It's very
you have a
Costco.
good face. You don't want to hide behind glasses.
Right, right.
Okay.
Erica Joy in the chat likes the graphite, the third pair you had on the best.
Yeah, opinions are flying in fast and furious from the comment stream. We have Gino Barassa says, number 1 is Uber Nerdo, number 2 looks like Elvis Costello, and number 3 is the winner. But let's not forget that he's a dude.
Yeah, I give more weight to female opinion. My priorities.
They could be telling you the wrong answers just to throw you off, because they know you're gonna get all the ladies with the first one.
Right, they're just jealous.
I think
We're
the
all
first one gives
competing.
you most IQ points. It's like when you put it on, you instantly look smarter. That's the thing with glasses. That's why I like glasses.
Tom, my mom is watching. My mom says she likes number 2.
Okay.
Nicole Young says she likes number 1 best.
Thank you, Nicole.
Yeah, Nicole is a woman of refined tastes.
I might actually take photos in all 3 and put them and get a. I've done a lot of surveys online, and I think after you only need about 100 people, and then the answer just doesn't change after that. That's been my experience. So you most of you have the power to basically answer any question that you want, that you want to know what people think. If you can get 100 people to answer you on Google+, you're quite powerful.
So basically Family Feud's doing it right.
Yeah.
100 people surveyed said.
Yeah. Hey, Dave, you can be the Richard Dawson.
So everybody says?
You could give smarmy kisses to the ladies here after they give their answers. All right, let's talk now about art and how Tara does her stuff. Tara, I'm going to share your website here, or at least your Google Plus photos. I have your paintings.
Awesome.
Okay, so watch this. Let me go share my screen here. Hold on a second. Okay, sharing the screen. Also, I'm going to give you a tip. Not a tip about your art, a tip about albums. So, by the way, so here's the thing. This is valuable to anybody. So I go here to your page. Sorry, let me click on my screen so everyone can see it. So I'm here on your page, right? And it only shows 4 albums, you might have noticed, right?
Oh, I know.
And so it's just photos from post, that's always first, and then profile photos, and then Denver Photo Walk, and Global Gaming Expo or something. But really, you want, and I think most people want, their best portfolio up here in the first 4.
Yeah.
So the way to do it, you may know this, but I'm just going to say it out loud just in case other people don't.
Tell everyone else.
Yeah. So this is your paintings, one which we're going to go to. You've got to go into Picasa and change the date of the album to like 2015. If you change it to the future, it'll end up in the first 4. So there's a little tip for you.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's a bug that they're still working on, I think.
Yeah. Well, so, I want you to talk about your stuff as much as you want to. I have like, 5 or 6 of your favorites I'd like to show, and you and I didn't prepare ahead of time or anything, but if you could just talk about them and your approach to things and this sort of thing.
Okay. Well, I'm a lot better with questions. So if anyone has a question, that would be awesome.
I have a question.
Yes.
Who was it that we were listening to last night, Trey, that he was saying that he thought that, painting and photography was much closer than most people think it is, and that it's so much about light. Who is that guy?
That's Daniel Ibanez, and he's the one that's going to be joining us for our little artistic foray in a few hangouts from now.
Yeah, I couldn't remember his last name, but what do you think about that? Like, how do you see the relationship between painting and photography, or does it seem the same at all to you, or is it just completely different?
Well, with me, I approach the two completely different, at least to start out with. They're just 2 completely different mediums, and like with any different medium, I kind of approach it differently. With my design work, with illustration, with painting, with photography. Can we get her to stop?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, the dog's gnawing at this bone. With painting, I kind of go about it a little bit more organically than I would with photography. A lot of times I don't have really an idea of what I want to do until I start doing it. And then something just sort of materializes on the canvas and I just kind of roll with it. A lot of times it's a feeling that I'm feeling at the moment, or it's very kind of emotional, or there's some sort of really deep meaning behind it. How I approach photography can be something kind of similar to that, but a lot of the times it's kind of already there, and I just pull out different things. So I really don't know what that means, but they can be similar, but for me it's a little bit more different than similar.
Mm-hmm.
So, Tara, you're about to open a gallery in downtown Denver.
Yeah.
That's pretty exciting. Tell us about that.
Yeah. Well, I moved to Denver in June, so the city is a little bit new to me, and it took me kind of a while to figure out what I was doing and what the art scene was here. And there's this great building in the heart. It's right dead center on the main street of our arts district, and I'm really excited by that. And every month we have a photo or art walk, and so that's cool. Do something different every month for that, and yeah, I don't know, I'm just really stoked about it. But I'll be featuring a lot of my work and probably have a lot of my work in different galleries and stuff around the city and whatever too, but that'll be the residency of most of my paintings. So,
and
you
what
live
was
in Denver.
what was the decision like to open your own gallery? Because I think that's a dream of so many artists, photographers and painters and everybody. What was that like?
Oh, geez. Well, I've been painting for, I don't know, like 10-ish years, and it all started with I just wanted paintings to hang up on my walls. I just wanted cool artwork that I couldn't afford. And to go from that, hanging stuff on my walls in my apartment, to having my own space for the public is just, it's really kind of amazing. And I just reached that point in my career where I really, I've been an interactive designer for 11-ish years, and that was pretty much my main source of income. And I just really, I don't know, painting is just such a huge part of my life, and I don't know, I just want to pursue it a lot more. And so I'm still doing freelance design, but I want to focus a lot more on my painting, and now it just seemed like the right time to do that.
Well, when you started this one... Oh, go ahead, Gordon.
Sorry, Trey. I just wanted to say, I've not seen your work before. It looks fantastic, but for someone who's not familiar with it and can't quite see some of the captions, can you tell us how big some of these pictures are and what medium you're using, what kind of paint, what kind of surface? Especially that first one. I love the colors in the first one.
Oh, thank you. The yellow and the red.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do a lot of acrylic and oil. Just started getting into some watercolor, which is, I think, kind of the opposite way that a lot of people go into painting. But most of my work is acrylic and oil. Some of it's mixed media. I really like to incorporate a lot of texture into my work, and sometimes I achieve that by all different sorts of means. So if you look closely, and unfortunately seeing it on a laptop or screen, you can't really see that amount of texture that I use, but I put a lot of paint and different things into my paintings. So
how big are they? How big would that one be?
I prefer what I call large scale. I don't know if somebody else would call it large scale, but I really like I have a couple 4 by 4 foot by 4 foot paintings, 3 by 4, some are 3 by 5. I have some medium scale, but I never do small. I really like to do things large. And the type of painting that I do too, it's not very detail oriented. So to do something that I do on a small canvas, it just won't work.
These are so great. When you come up with something like this, what inspires you? Does it just kind of come out of an idea in your head, or do you see things in the real world or other art?
Well, it's a variety. Some of it's done completely organically. Like I just start with a blank canvas and I just pick a color and I just begin to paint something. Some of it I really do have an idea in my head of something that I want to portray. There's one of a huge nose. It's a 4x4 painting in my gallery, and yeah, it's actually on my wall above my couch right now. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, let me switch over to your video so everyone can see. Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah, so that one I couldn't sleep at night, which is pretty frequent, unfortunately. But I was lying in bed and it was probably 1:30 in the morning. And I'm like, man, what am I going to do with that big canvas that I, have sitting in my living room? And I just got this huge, this idea that I wanted to do this huge nose for some reason. So that one, I definitely had an idea of what I wanted to do. But some of the abstract ones, I just start painting, and it just comes alive as I paint it.
And you seem to have like lots of different directions you go. What do you ever feel like you're just experimenting, or do you know when you nailed it, or do you just is it just sort of a feeling? How many rejects do you have? Like, we're seeing all kinds of stuff, but maybe we're not seeing are all your things interesting, or what do you do?
I don't stop until I have something that is, worthwhile to show. Some of my paintings, some of the ones there, obviously not the ones where you can actually see the canvas in the background. Those are first runs, but some of my paintings, there's probably 4 different paintings underneath it. I'll paint something and I just not like it, and I'll just paint over it, and I keep doing it until I really achieve what I want to achieve. So, but yeah, like a lot of my stuff I do with experimentation. I'm always want to learn new things, new techniques. I dabble. I suck at photography, but like I try to work on it, and like I'm always trying to learn new things, whatever it may be. But yeah, there's all sorts of different techniques and stuff in there. Yeah.
Did you go through any kind of formal training, or are you self-taught?
Well, I went to college for digital art, and we did a couple classes in drawing and painting and all that crap, but nothing like what I'm doing. So I guess what you would say is, for a majority of my work, my paintings, I am self-taught. But I do have an art background, so. What
took you out of, so you've only been doing this 10 years. You did something else beforehand. What transitioned you into this?
Well, this has always been a hobby. So I worked in advertising and as a digital artist. So I've always had an art flair. I was always really good in art class growing up and all of that. But I don't know. I just always did it as a hobby, and I just really want to make it into an actual career now. I think a lot of photographers do that too.
How are you going to sell these things? What's the price points, and like, are you doing copies or limited edition, or are there multiple versions, or is it just an original? What's your plan there?
Well, all my stuff originally is just original art. I took 1.5 years off because I was working on this project where I was traveling around the country, and I couldn't really paint while I was doing that, so I took a good bit of time off. But when I moved out to Denver, I decided that I really needed to get back into it. So a lot of my stuff is still original, but I do plan on doing some prints and see how that goes. But price points. I don't know. I've had a lot of people tell me I need to really hike up my rates because I'm pretty humble with how I price things.
You got 5 paintings in one. You said you have 4 underneath some of them.
I know, right? If you get bored of one, just, melt it down to the next layer.
It's really expensive to have a big canvas like that and all that paint. I mean, your cost for a painting like that's up near $500, isn't it?
It can be pretty pricey. I don't really keep track of that. I used to have a really good job. And I didn't really care at the time, and now I'm like, if I really want to make this, my main source of income, I have to modify some things. But
do you price it according to your time? Do you factor in your time into your price points? I mean, putting 4 paintings into one canvas, that must be very time consuming.
Yeah, well, I only price it for that one painting, the one that you actually see, because I kind of doubt anybody else would see the ones underneath it. There's another famous artist that does it, and I can't place it. But a lot of times it's the size of the canvas, how much paint I use, how complex the painting is. So there's all sorts of different factors in there.
Well, that is very interesting. Thanks. I'm painting curious, because I don't really paint, but I admire it, and that's what often influences me even more than photographers. Photographers often, I spend so much time looking at photography. Obviously, I get influenced by it, but really painting is something else. That's why I want to do this other hangout. Sorry, go ahead, Tara.
Yeah, well, there's so many different, I think a lot more things that you can do with painting. Like a lot of the photography I see is...
Hello, Bradley. How are you?
Hey, guys. I caught you.
Good. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Just got back from a wonderful dinner. A friend built a pizza oven, and so we had all varieties of pizza.
Oh, that's awesome.
I've heard that the secret to the pizza oven is that big metal or the big stone thing you can actually cook the pizza on. Did they have one of those?
Yeah, this was really, he put a lot of thought into it. It was domed on the inside, and it gets to about 900 degrees. So it takes, about an hour of burning wood in there to get it up to temperature, and then the pizza's cook in about 4 minutes. So it's really amazing.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, tell everyone who you are, just in case people don't know.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm Bradley Horowitz. I'm the VP of Product for Google+, most of the time, and now I'm on vacation.
It's probably much deserved vacation. You guys have been really putting out a lot of stuff lately.
Yeah, it's been really intense and really wonderful. And I don't know if you guys saw this. We had a couple of broadcast TV commercials on air tonight.
No.
I watched the Muppets one. I saw that.
Yeah, we had a Muppets one. I posted about it, and there's YouTube links, so you can, watch them at your leisure. But I think they're pretty good. The one is, we call it Love Story, with the guy and the gal who put each other in a circle, and then, I won't spoil the punchline. You just got to watch what happens. The other one is the Muppets singing Under Pressure, David Bowie and Queen. And that one was on the X Factor finale today. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
What is it like when your ad company comes up with these ideas? Do they pitch them to you on a big screen? You all sit around and go, "Oh, that's stupid," or "That one's awesome. We got to do that one."
We have an amazing marketing department, and in fact, the guy who's the head of Google Plus marketing, his name's Marvin Chow, was the head of marketing for Nike in APAC. And he's just an incredibly creative thinker. And he works with this lab within Google called Creative Lab. We do outsource some things, but we have an incredible internal team that comes up with a lot of the concepts, and then we sort of outsource the execution for a lot of them. But it's amazing. Yeah, we sit around and we give feedback, and we sort of, say we like this one. And you sort of know. When you see one that really works, you sort of, you know it, you feel it.
My favorite one is, I don't know if you've seen it or not, I'm amazed that you guys are doing these commercials all over the world. You've got this Chrome one that's in Japan. and it's very kind of otaku, all anime type stuff, and it's Chrome, but it's super Google Plus centric.
Wow. Well, everything is going to have a Google Plus theme. In fact, I saw the Verizon ads. Verizon has this Bohemian Rhapsody ad, and so the partners and even the other Google products are going to really promote Google Plus because it's part of who we are now.
So I guess a lot of your growth is coming internationally too. I noticed that in my followers, I'm getting a lot of people from India and China and Japan, and it's really global.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw, I was recently in Japan, and it was incredible. It was just an incredible experience, the passion of that community, and we launched this partnership with AKB48, which, if you don't know who they are, it's kind of like American Idol meets Justin Bieber meets the Beatles.
But 10 times bigger.
But 10 times bigger. And like cross-marketing, and it's just crazy. And, our graphs in Japan were sort of like the rest of the world. They were sort of up, but when we launched with them, they went vertical. It just sort of jumped by a huge scale factor. So it just shows you when you hit the right formula in the regions, like magic can happen.
Yeah, even in North America, there's a lot of AKB48 fans. I know a lot of my friends are.
Yeah, it's true.
It's amazing all these little subcultures all over that we don't hear about, but they're just explosive socially.
Yeah.
It's wild. Well,
Go ahead,
Tom.
Me and Trey were talking about your ads in general, just the Google Plus ads, and no social network has really ever done any kind of serious advertising, and nobody else would ever have the budget, So at MySpace, we did about 3 weeks of banners in the first month, and we got no response. It was horrible, and we just killed that idea. And for most companies, I would think it wouldn't make sense because they wouldn't have the budget and the deep pockets to just keep going, because that's what you really need to do with that kind of branded, advertising. And I'm really excited to see how it works.
Yeah.
I think it will work. The ads are so good, and you've got the money to just keep going and hit all the different sub-markets like we just mentioned. It's really cool.
Well, thank you. And, if you look at the ad, the one that's sort of running now, we call it the Anthem ad, because it doesn't really have a call to action. It doesn't, send you to go try Google Plus now. We take a really long view. We just want to raise awareness that there is this thing called Google Plus and that it's special in these various ways, like Hangouts and Circles. So, we understand it's a long haul. We're very late to the game, and like you said, we've got budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, so cool. And we love all the photo stuff that your team has put out. I knew something big was coming because the photos team is huge, and whenever they go silent for 6 weeks, you know that they're doing something interesting.
So do you guys like it?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Love it.
You probably know this. I know it because I talked with so many of them and met with them, but everyone on the Google Photos team, they're photographers. They're not just coders, but they use this stuff, and it's not just like they're forced to use it, but they want to make it as awesome as possible. So there's something fundamental that's nice there.
Absolutely. I mean, I have to say, I am getting a lot of feedback about the Lightbox experience. I like it. It's mostly good, but I think there are a few areas that are frustrating people and are, opportunities for improvement.
Is it the click next button complaining?
Yeah, I hear that. I hear that the initial experience with the right rail is somewhat glaring, like the white on black there is just too high contrast. That the way that comments sort of pop in over the photo actually doesn't respect the photo enough. So
yeah, we were just looking at some of Tara's art here. Let me share my screen. And when I take
that right rail
screen,
there, is that not disturbing to people, or do you feel like that brings the conversation in?
No, I agree. It's a little bit too strong.
Yeah, it's too much of contrast.
It is a little strong. And
that's actually one of the things that I have a lot of difficulty with working with black websites. That text. What do you do with it?
Yeah, it's a tough problem. 500px does it pretty nice. It feels pretty clean there. this and like I agree with you, Bradley. I don't. This is annoying to have these little comments pop on top of Tara's art because that's kind of actually one of the important parts of her art here is like the lower part, and the comments kind of ruin it in a way. It's interesting, but they do kind of get in the way, I guess.
Yep. We're going to rethink it. We'll take your feedback. We'll figure out a way to do it even better. But you guys are right. This is a really major release in not only the functionality that we released, but we also migrated to a new platform, which will allow us to move much more quickly henceforth. There was a lot of sort of cleanup on reconciling the Picasso way of doing things with the Google Plus way of doing things, and we sort of got that behind us now, and I think the team will move really fast.
Well, that's great. Is there any update? I'm going to put you on the spot. I shouldn't do this. But is there any update, because you were so nice to come in? But I know you're kind of excited about this, so I don't feel like it's that bad. This idea that photographers might be able to sell their own stock photography through Google. Like I could take one of my albums and say, everything in here is for sale. Here's the price. And then people that do a Google image search, they could just say, just show me images that are for sale.
Yep.
And then you guys can handle the transaction with Google Checkout and all that kind of stuff. And you guys blow Getty and all these. I mean, these guys, it's highway robbery. They take 80%, and they're just robbing photographers blind. We already love you guys, but we would super love you if you did that for us.
Yeah, I am really excited about that. I don't want to mislead you guys and set an expectation it's the next thing we're going to launch in the new year. I think it's consistent with what we think we can do that's special. We don't need to make money on the backs of the photographers who are pouring great content into our system. Google has a fine and healthy business, and we don't have to sort of impose a tax on you guys or game developers or bloggers. Like, we can really treat you guys fairly. And I think it is a huge opportunity. Like you said, you're already on there. We could do much more for you. So it's on the roadmap, and we will get there. But I can't say anything as to when.
Well, as long as it's on the roadmap, that's exciting enough. Well, what about you personally? Are you all the photography you see? Are you interested in trying it, or do you want to get a better camera? Are you inspired at all?
I am inspired. For me, it's a question of time. Taking up anything seriously right now is sort of, not a viable option for me. So, I have a couple of cameras, and I just bought a video camera, and it's just, I know I don't have the time to invest in this. One day I'll be like Tom and travel the world with you, Trey, and be a student of this stuff. But right now, I think I'm in the right role, enabling you guys versus really being a principal in space.
Yeah, well, there's time later.
Yeah.
I lived Brad's life when I got to do nothing for 5 or 6 years. I didn't even know what was on TV, who was president.
Exactly.
Hey, Brad, soon you could come on and try on different glasses on air with Trey and have the women of the internet tell you what you should be wearing. I mean, that's the future, right?
Life is good. It's good both ways. I'm sure Brad's having the time of his life.
Oh, man. I really do love my job. The people I work with are so phenomenal. We're having a blast.
So when you guys have these company picnics, I envision Vic Gondotra out there. He's one of these guys that would wear shorts and wear his white socks pulled up too high while he plays volleyball. Can you confirm or deny
really
that?
Fashionable. I think his wife must be dressing him, but he's actually one of the more sharp dressers on the floor.
You guys should do a fashion show and show us some behind-the-scenes stuff. People would eat that up.
It's not that interesting, believe me.
I wanted to see a candid shot of his wife laying out clothes on the bed for him every morning.
We did have a really wonderful holiday party. It was sort of 1920s theme, so everyone dressed up as flappers and gangsters, sort of, and that was fun.
Cool. Well, we were just about to get to Q&A here. We've had good questions flying in on the stream, and Dave's
ask
been
you a
kind of
quick
organizing
question,
them.
Trey?
Sure.
Can I ask? Yeah, I've just got to go in a couple of minutes, but there's a question I wanted to ask just before I went. It is actually also a question shared on the stream, so someone's obviously thinking the same way as I am. That's not a good thing if you're that person. You appear to have stolen Keith Barrett or RC's microphone.
It's about my microphone, right? Yeah, this is big.
Tell us about
so
it.
Big.
You've gone serious pro on us here.
I'm not overcompensating for anything. It's just
Nobody said you were, Trey.
I know. I don't.
You brought up
offensive
conversation, Trey. You brought it up.
I apologize. Well, you know who told me to get this? I wanted a good mic because I've been doing these things more and more, and now they're being recorded on YouTube, and we're going to be on Leo's Twit network and all this stuff. So I need to, get my act together. And so I wanted to get a good mic, and I don't know anything about these. I always see these in front of people, and I think, oh, these must be like audio engineers that know how to hook this stuff up because it looks so. It's like a transformer that's in mid-flight. So it was very intimidating to me. But then Dave told me to get this one. Dave, why don't you I'm going to delegate this answer to you, Dave.
That's the Samsung, not Samsung, but Samsung C03U, I believe. It's a compression mic or compressor.
And how much does it cost?
It's about $100, 120, I think.
Right. And then so it's only about a little over $100, and there's this thing which is sort of a shock mount, I guess.
Yep.
And then there's this arm that attaches to your desk so you can move it around. So I guess all in all, it's a couple $100.
Yeah, about $240.
Yeah.
Trey, say Peter Piper picked a peck. Do that thing. We want to see whether your pop filter is good on that mic.
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled herrings. Is that what it is?
It's pretty
Pickled
good.
peppers.
Pickled pepper.
Yeah, but it's
never had to
USB
say
too,
that
which is nice. It's USB.
What does Anchorman say before he does his broadcast?
I don't know. It looks serious. Bradley will know what I'm talking about. It looks like a Neumann.
How now, brown cow?
All right. Well,
One of you fans respect for you anyway, Trey. It's fantastic, Mike.
Well,
nice.
thank
I'm
you.
very jealous. I'm going to have to run now, so I'll just say goodbye to you all. Thanks for having me. Happy holidays.
Okay. Well, have a nice day.
Have a great holiday.
I'm jealous.
Check out one last advert. Check out Camera Labs in the next 24 hours. You may see a video of our Queenstown photo walk, the first one we had. That's a picture from the newspaper of us all. So I recorded some video, and I'll try and put that together in the next 24 hours. That could be good fun if any of you want a Christmas laugh.
Oh, awesome.
Awesome. I love these photo walks everywhere.
You talk so fast. It's cameralabs.com. Right?
Thank you, Tom.
Okay.
What's that strange piece of printed paper he held up?
Yeah,
I know. It's this new technology that I'm very excited about it.
What kind of tablet was that?
I believe there's some sort of new advertising you can do on it, Trey. It's brilliant.
Is that the new e-ink that bends?
Yeah, it's really, really good. All right, good night, everyone. Bye.
See you, Gordon.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So, Dave Veffer here has pulled some questions from the main thread. We can answer them. Jason Liu asks, anyone has experience in shooting extreme cold weather, like -15 Celsius to -5? Just want to know how the DSLR cope in this kind of situation, especially battery life. Trey Ratcliff, do you have experience in this? I have a bit of experience in it, mostly in Iceland and Ukraine, and a little bit down in the Andes. But once you get a professional body, like let's say, I don't know, $2,000 and up, these things are super rock solid. The batteries don't seem to be a problem because they have a different kind of battery. It just holds a lot more charge. In fact, my current camera, I charge the battery maybe once a week. That's even me shooting with it every day. Cold drains a little bit faster, but not that much faster for the professional bodies. Also, they're incredibly water resistant. The cold's not going to bother them. So once you get the mid-range or cheaper cameras, it is a little bit more sketchy. So that might be a little risky to take in those environments. But yeah, that's my answer there. What else do we have here? Taryn Lambert asks, this has been the first time I have something about Google Plus. Do you really think photographers need Google Plus? What does it serve other than Facebook or Twitter? Aha. Well, that's a good question. I obviously have really jumped in headfirst into Google Plus, as have so many other photographers. And I think it's because it's for us to discuss the art and the science of photography. It's analogous to me. In the late 19th century, one of my hobbies is the Great Impressionists. And there was a huge explosion of Impressionism at that time, from Caillebotte, from Monet, Manet, Renoir, Sisley, all of these people. Because what they did is they would go meet in these cafes in Montmartre in Paris, and they would discuss things. They would discuss where they bought their yellow paints from, what kind of chemicals would be crushed together, who their suppliers were. They would talk about how to achieve different kind of color light effects by putting different colors of tones beside each other. They would go out and they would paint together. Renoir and Monet would go out and paint the same scene together. They would paint each other's face. So it was incredibly social, and it was the first time that artists got together to discuss the art of it and the creation of it all. And then suddenly there's this huge explosion in Impressionist art. And so even though, we're all digital photographers and we've been hanging out online together in various ways, it's always been kind of Flickr, which isn't face-to-face. We're humans. We like to see each other's faces. That's why these Hangouts are so great. But there's something about the hyper-social nature of Google+, where you're just in it to give and to learn, and you get so much out of giving and learning and community that I think it's analogous to what happened at the end of the 19th century in France. So if you go into it with that mindset, you can get a lot out of it. I wouldn't go into it thinking like, oh, I'm going to make money or I'm going to push my business, or no one really wants to see that stuff in your stream. It's really just a place to learn and be social and share. And if you go into that with that attitude, it's probably the best game in town, I think. Do you guys have anything to add? I didn't mean to dominate that answer or anything.
I think it makes a lot of sense what you're saying, and it's also just, did she say, what were the ones she mentioned as communities? Flickr and Facebook and Twitter? Was that her alternates?
Yeah, those were the other choices.
Come here. Hey, Ozzy. Come on. Now you guys can see my dog. Come on. Come on.
Oh, he's a camera shy.
But, come on. All right. There's Ozzy. But Facebook started with the idea that you're just going to add your friends, and that's the only people you're going to talk to. And Twitter obviously didn't. Twitter's much more open, but because it's so narrowly focused in terms of the way you can communicate, it doesn't really encourage a lot of conversation. It obviously doesn't encourage face-to-face time. And I think that's something that Google Plus has done that's really cool, is it's sort of brought back the spirit of the early forums of the web and places where people were encouraged to be more social. And it's done it with a strange group, which is started with a sort of highly intellectual group and also a very nerdy group. Hey, there's another dog.
Bradley has a dog too.
Yeah. Hey, oh, he's looking.
Right.
My dog's looking at the screen.
Rashi.
What's your dog's name, Bradley?
This is Rashi. She's 70 pounds, though. She's got to get off my lap about now.
Almost as heavy as I am. Wow.
So I think that makes a big difference in the community of Google Plus, and that community's kind of leading to what Trey described. So it's sort of the intent behind Google Plus and the features itself, which allow people to write as much as they want, share as much as they want. So it's kind of the preconditions to create that behavior in the people he's talking about. So That's what makes it so cool right now.
What's it been like for you, Tara? I mean, it's hard typically, I think, for painters to get social in this way, but you've been taking high-quality photos of your art and sharing it and getting feedback. Is that giving you more mojo to create more art, or what's the experience been like?
Well, it's really strange. A lot of people that follow me are actually photographers, and they think that I am also a photographer. So that's how I got a large amount of the people that are following me. And because it's all part of the same industry, it's all part of the art world, there's a lot of appreciation and stuff there. But I'm definitely getting a lot of really awesome feedback and about my work, and but the G Plus community is something entirely different. Like I don't I don't really use Facebook that much, and Twitter is a completely different medium, and generally I use Facebook just for friendships. So this is the Google Plus experience has been quite beneficial and just, awesome all around. I've been networking with people that I would have never been able to meet otherwise. Here I am talking to, Bradley and Lily and Tom and Trey and Dave there. So just amazing people that I would have never been able to befriend on Facebook or even on Twitter. It's not good for communication. So I've just been really getting my artwork out there. I do feel like there's a shortage a little bit in artists in general, excluding the photographer world. But I don't know. Hopefully we'll see that progress in the future.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Did I answer the question?
Yeah, you did. Thanks. Okay, here's another question that Dave has pasted in here from George Saad, or Saad, S-A-A-D. Plus Trey Ratcliff, what does it take to stand out as a photographer? Well, this is a tough answer in a way. I guess I'll just be open and say that try a lot of different things, find what's beautiful to you, and then just start spiraling out of control on that thing that you think is beautiful to you. And when I say spiral out of control, I mean stop getting feedback from people, stop asking for approval from other photographers. It really doesn't matter what other photographers think of your work. I get hundreds of emails per week, thousands per week, people asking me to go look at their photos, like they want my approval or they want my feedback. Or really, my feedback and my approval is not any part of your own artistic path. Your own artistic path is your own. And the more feedback you get from people like me or others, it might accidentally guide you down a path that's not yours. I think every human internally knows what's beautiful, and you can find something that's very much your own as soon as you open up and just kind of accept that and go with it. There are books that I might recommend that are not art books. I think you should have a wide range of interests. For example, I'm interested in everything from anthropology to history to science to genetics to computer science. And I read all these various different things, and they end up influencing the way I see the world. And I think as a photographer, even if you're just getting started, you get a certain glimpse as to the shape of life, right? You occasionally see things that make everything in the world make sense. And the more you explore this side of yourself, the more of the truth of life you can see. And you can kind of become one with this flow of the universe. And the more you open yourself up and the more kind of pure you are, and the more you are completely independent and you don't care what people think about you, you stop really trying to impress people and just try to impress yourself. And there's people at dinner parties, right? And a lot of people like prepare for dinner party because they want to be interesting to other people. It's there's a better kind of person that doesn't learn things to become interesting to other people. They learn things to become interesting to themselves. And the more interesting you become to yourself, the better artist you become. So that's sort of a sideways answer, but I think that there's the shape of the truth in there somewhere.
So basically you're saying be true to yourself.
Yes, but I said it in a bit of a
roundabout way.
long, vainglorious manner, so I apologize for that. I hate to boil things down into little refrigerator magnets. You know, that seems to be sort of a thing that people do nowadays, and I don't think it's that easy, because there's more substance underneath those refrigerator magnets that are worthy of exploration.
Number 2.
Hey,
like
Dave, I missed your text there. Can you just say it out loud? You told me something about Tara that I missed.
Yeah, it said that there was a question that she'll answer in email.
Ah, okay. All right, very good.
Yeah, Taryn, I will get back to you via email. There's some follow-up questions I need to ask you.
Yeah.
I'll be out a little bit.
Yeah, feel free to ask any of us questions offline. I can't promise that I'll get to them, but I'll do my best, and so will everybody else. Well, we'll bring the recording officially to a close now, unless there's anyone in the Hangout that wants to say anything. Or oh, wait, I do have a news update about the Yosemite thing.
Oh.
So Skull was going to pop in. He didn't make it, but Tom will be there. Thomas Hawk will be there. So this is the cool announcement. I've got this great fan who's become a friend, and she's a pilot, and she's coming to Yosemite too. She's bringing a plane. We could put 3 people in the plane and fly around Yosemite and hang out of it and take photos. So this is going to be awesome. Her name is Jessica Ambats, and she's going to be up there. So we might have to pull lottery tickets to see who gets to go up. That'll be a fun thing. And everyone's welcome up there. If you want to know more, just let me know. We'd love to see you. It's kind of a long way away, but if you're not doing anything on New Year's, we'd love to hang out with you. It'll be fun. Okay. Well, anything else from anybody before we officially end the recording?
When you say officially end the recording, are you going to click that button? Because I think that'll make you drop out of the Hangout. Just
no, but it's where I'll cut it in YouTube
Okay.
for rebroadcast later.
Cool.
Awesome. Tom, Trey, are you guys going to Burning Man this coming year?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I'll go. Are you going to go?
Yeah, I'm
Me?
Yeah,
Or
you,
Tom?
Tara. You,
I was
Tara.
thinking about it. It looks like an experience that I haven't experienced yet, so I'm always into that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think there's a ton of photographers going this time. I mean, I've met probably, I would say 40 to 50 people here who, I don't know if I influenced them or whatever, but they saw my photos and they know how much I love it, and they've seen other people's photos, and it's just a playground for photographers. And I'm sure all artists, like painters, it's so inspirational. If you're like me, you get I need stimulation all the time, and I kind of know what kind of stimulation I'll get in various mechanisms and means. But at Burning Man, you see things that not even the most wild imagination could come up with on their own, right? These wild imaginations, they spiral off these incredible creations. But you see thousands of them all at once, and it's really something else. You'll like it.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been all over the country, and that's just something I have yet to experience. I didn't even know about it until Google Plus and, your pictures and a lot of, other people's pictures. And, yeah, it got me kind of excited. So, I don't know. I might be hitting that up this year.
It'll be fun. There's a lot of people from Google that go. Isn't that right, Bradley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Larry, Sergey, Eric Schmidt goes. Good part of the company shuts down for Burning Man.
Oh, cool. I've never seen any of them out there. I'm sure they're in some crazy costume that they wouldn't want to be caught dead in.
Dressed like
They're staying away from the photographers.
Yeah. No, I'm always very careful with my photos. I don't I don't show photos of people in compromising positions or things that might embarrass them in real life. I just show awesome stuff, you know.
You don't show the blackmail fodder?
No.
You keep that for yourself.
No, I only had one time. So I take a picture without asking because I don't really like asking permission because it ruins the mood. But afterwards, I go show them the photo, and we have a nice little moment and exchange together. I only had 2 people tell me to delete the photos. And this is out of thousands of photos. One was like a school teacher that didn't want the other parents to know that he was there at Burning Man. And the other was a girl who didn't want to have her picture on the internet. So I would just delete those, of course. But it's very, very rare. Very, very rare. Okay, well, we'll bring this to a close. Thank you, everybody. It was great, very interesting. And we'll leave with everyone kind of waving goodbye gently into the breeze of the internet.
Merry Christmas. Yay.
Bye.
My reindeer.
Happy holidays.
And scene.
Holidays.
Okay, well, we'll keep hanging out, but that was the official end of the recording, and keep answering questions, that sort of.